Hey everyone, it's such a pleasure to meet you. My name is David Grindle, and I am the founder of Fail Enterprises. I've developed an idea which actually solves a slew of major problems we face as a species. It costs next to nothing, and is based entirely on a union of single-point responsibility and social media. I have a singular goal in creating Zero Fail. I will effectively create the most genius income generation machine of our time and use its massive profits to solve problems around the world directly. Zero Fail is not an organization. It is a single point of responsibility, me, in the effort of putting funds where they are needed. We solve the issue of cost by eliminating all of it. The formula is pretty basic. Step 1. A YouTube channel, which is free. Step 2, original content created in 1 minute 30-second clips, also free. 3, since these are homemade segments, no copyrights or royalties are due out to anybody. Not for music, not for images in the background, and not for anything I reference, and there's pretty much no product placement. Step 4, I'm going to attach as many advertisements as possible to each clip. I mean, that's where I really look out to you for your dedication and tenacity. Okay, that's the most effort you're going to have to expend, is to endure as much advertisement as could be stapled to each and every video. Step 5, upload as many clips as possible per day, ideally 100 plus. When you think about it, that's really not too big a chunk of the day. Number 6, I'm going to encourage the global audience to watch as many videos as they can per day to facilitate maximum profit. Number 7, use the money for good. I'm pretty sure you can agree with me because I think the human audience is skeptical in nature, and they're hesitant to believe that anyone means to do what they say or are without an agenda. I agree. That's why beside the initial investment, which is in me to sustain my family and I until this project reaches its inevitable success, no viewer is encouraged to give anything but their time. By assembling a regular viewership across the globe, fueled by the consistent payout to communities, those in debt, youth, the hungry, and the homeless, and those who have come up with viable ideas to make a change, we will triumph. From the most generic calculator available that I found on Google, youtube.co, a YouTuber can make anywhere from $1.36 to $3.40 per 1,000 views after AdSense and Google get their cut. This means that at 1 million views, one video brings in $1,360 to $3,400 US. At 100 videos per day, we could expect to see an average of about $200,000 in profit. If we've seen anything proven by the gigantic audience YouTube attracts, an idea of this merit and substance could easily exceed several 100 million viewers per video each day. If I may make an approximation in which this idea takes hold, let's say 200 million people take half an hour each day during downtime or transit and watch 10 videos. 2 billion views at the desired RPM, or value of 1,000 views. And have that RPM, which is that payout, right? The value of 1,000 views is hereafter referred to as an RPM. Thank you again, youtube.co. I would ask in that range of possibility for $2.85, which is equivalent to $5,700,000 US every day. How many mouths could be fed? How many people could be bought out of debt, given a second chance? How many schools, hospitals, clinics, community centers, libraries, playgrounds, fire stations, shelters, etc. be funded with that sort of monetary power? The answer's enough. Enough to begin mending the broken areas of the world and helping the people that need a hand. Done without the need for fancy dinners and tuxedos and gentle talk about the suffering of common folk. I want you to get to know me. Okay, that's very important, as I plan to live my life on public record from the initialization, from the get-go of Zero Fail. I'm a 27-year-old biracial U.S. citizen. I've spent my 20s as a service member in the United States Navy as a radar technician. I deployed in the Western Pacific twice, and some bikers liked what they were hearing, decided to roll by, give me a thumbs up. Not really. Back to the matter at hand, right? I deployed in the Western Pacific twice. Yep. I visited probably 20 countries across the hemisphere, and I gained an immeasurable amount of insight. The similarity between human beings of the true majority. We can separate ourselves by a lot of things, but one thing we can't separate ourselves by is that even in communities as big as nations in the modern age, sometimes with billions of human beings as citizenry in said nation, the vast majority just live their lives day to day, interacting with other people, trying to get through against whatever struggles, broad or narrow, they're facing. And they find love, they find humor, they find entertainment, they fight with each other, they laugh, they watch TV, they watch movies, they play video games, they love or hate their families, they work what you might consider a menial or trivial or tedious task every day. But in doing their part in the whole, they do get enough money to keep their families alive. And where that doesn't happen, where that can't happen, even when people are willing to work and be a part of progress, that is what's unacceptable. That is the reason for the foundation of Zero Fail. Where people try and cannot succeed, there is Zero Fail. No matter where you are in the world. I'm engaged to the love of my life. I have 3 awesome children, 10-year-old girl, 3-year-old girl, almost 4, and month-and-a-half old son, Kay, Mika, and Finn. I've been outspoken in social media communities for nearly a decade, discussed politics, religion, civics, international affairs, ideology. I'm all about it, okay? Right now, I'm currently enrolled at Full Sail University in the pursuit of a bachelor's in the sciences of game design. Yeah, very fancy. I think something that's super important is that I will commit to keeping the financial documentation extremely transparent. That's the difference, is that you could look on my website and see exactly how much came in and exactly how much went out. And though I'm not asking people for money, I'm asking for their time to make money as a group. I think that the availability of all that information, it's key. It's key that there's no scandal. It's key that there's no fraud, that nobody's getting taken advantage of, that there's no agenda, there's no angle. Like, I'm pretty sure that if this is so massive a project, and what I'm asking for is for people to view and witness and be inspired by real change, because it's happening on a daily basis. When there's no red tape, and you hit me up, or I'm trolling not just Kickstarter, but GoFundMe, and once I've been put in the network of those who move in the realm of civics and progressiveness and growth, that with such a massive amount of money, which is the key, moving, like if you tell me, hey, look, I've got these patented, I've got the design, and just like the drinking straw filter that could make African bodies of water previously unusable eligible to be consumed and therefore get a healthy water supply for a group of people that have not had it. And you say, I can make 50,000 of these things for $2.5 million. And I could make 50,000 of these things within 3 weeks' time, including 2 weeks' time to get there and have the shipping returned. whatever. I'll say, you know what, man? We made that in a day yesterday. We made enough to buy 400,000 of those things and cover the shipping to get where they need to go across Africa, where people have already implanted themselves from other countries who are there to do good. It's not about the label that you follow. It's about what you're actually doing. You can tell me all day that you want to end world hunger, but according to the latest numbers by the UN, it would cost $30 billion a year to feed everyone in the world, to beat hunger per year. And that's sometimes a tenth of other budgets in single countries' expenditure. There are many organizations that take in huge sums of money every year and are dedicated to figuring out how to fix these problems. And somehow, all these decades down the lane of huge amounts of money changing hands, and nothing's happened. It's unacceptable, and here is a way for all of us to come together, not to bring anything negative into the mix, but to do something we already do: watch YouTube. All the billions of people that collectively have a smartphone in their hands, a tablet in front of them, a desktop computer, a laptop, and you can watch YouTube, and you watch videos from World Star Hip Hop, you watch music videos on gaming, Let's Plays. I mean, plays. There is an infinite number of categories of things being covered on YouTube. If you could take half an hour, no matter how old you are, if you're using YouTube, if you took half an hour to watch videos, and that's like a minute 30 of videos, and probably collectively, if you went full 30-second unskippable, you're looking at 6-7 videos. I mean, if you just put this on a playlist, if I'm chumping out 100 videos a day of meaningful, constructive commentary on what the next goal is, and then there's 2 minutes total of ads on either side, let that roll while you're in your car. Let that roll when you're on the bus or the trolley or when you're chilling. Like, if you want comedy, that's how we'll do it. Whatever the flow of the world demands. We got 100 videos a day. Because if you took that 100 minutes, because they can be cut down, but let's not shy away from 130. You can cover a lot and it's still not long. Let's in the breakdown that I had prepared, we can get back to it, just because otherwise the passion will push the entire dialogue, and I don't have but 30 minutes. And let's just hop back into it. Pardon me, yes. I'm a firm believer that people need to see proof for what they give. Maybe some would be fine watching a few videos every day to help a stranger live a life of luxury and excess. But many more will endure the ads and connect with me as I explore the use of each dollar, recording the effect on everyone we touch. They'll do so if in the end they've changed the world without sending a dime or leaving their routine. The math. $85,000. Now this figure, I think, would be something to present on Shark Tank to approach philanthropists or corporations with, that will help get behind me in this. Excuse me. Because $85,000 would be a coverall for me. It would pay off all of my family's debt and cover our cost of living for one entire year. Even for a family of 5. We shop very intelligently for groceries to feed the 5 of us. And our rent, because I live in northern Florida, is about $815. Electric's $130. To not have to worry about any bills, and then really that could also buy a dedicated office. Oh, we're back in the saddle. Sorry, I had to pause there because my throat is hot. I do have allergies. And I'm fighting through it, but that's just part of who I am. That's part of the struggle. That's part of me, man. Now that you're taking a minute to learn a little bit more about just how we're going to kick this whole project's ass. Okay, so we were talking 85 grand. And for me, like I said, out of debt, to put all obstacles out of the way in terms of sidetracking. This is not including, obviously, my family, my children, my dogs. But for me to put in 12 to 14 hours a day, making videos, researching content, researching good projects, good work that's being put in on the part of change, to look for schools in cold areas where I could buy in bulk hundreds, if not thousands, if necessary, jackets, boots, warm clothing, and to put food on shelves, not only in my country, the United States, but everywhere I can find it. Like, okay, here's my deal. Okay, because this blew my mind when I finally did the math for it. If we reach the level which I fully believe we will reach, when the fervor of this project, when people start realizing en masse, if I really do put in the time to watch 50 videos in a day, I am doing so alongside not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, not millions, but potentially billions of people who are connecting under this content that has nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with ethnicity or nationality, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with how you feel, other than to feel that I did so. I did so the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. 2 hours of my day, whether, I could have earphones in for 2 hours or not on my schedule. And children went to sleep warm. They went to sleep comfortably. They went to sleep having been treated with medicine that can cure their ails, because there are ailing children in every part of the world. There are hungry men and women. There are hungry children. There are hungry elderly folks that are not hungry because of laziness, because of waste. They're hungry because the moment they are in their life. Where they stand today is way different than where they stood the day before yesterday. Because out of nowhere, a man in northern Florida purchased through a distribution deal, I suppose like a warehouse level deal with Walmart, to fill 10 trucks with non-perishables. Huge, as many jugs of water as I could cram into 2, 3, 4, 18-wheelers, and rolled down the street and stopped every 4 blocks, every 8 blocks. And because we're dealing with social media, everybody in that area knows, hey, if you see somebody that's down and out, bring them. If you see somebody that is struggling to put food or drink on the table for themselves, for their children, for their parents, their grandparents, tell them to come out. And when that happens in 10 cities a day across the world, then people won't be able to say, this asshole is just talking about how he wants to help everyone. And instead, now he lives in a mansion and he made so much money so quick that he did a few deals so he could get off the ground and then fell out. Because people have heard that story a million times. People have elected other human beings to be a part of the governing body that presides over them. And instead of saying like, hey man, why doesn't everybody have access to healthcare? Why haven't we figured out how to get everybody to the doctors? How haven't we figured out to vector massive amounts of consumables, massive amounts of commonplace, necessary, and tier 2 desired items, because we have enough to give it to everybody 10 times over, but we're not even doing it once across the board. How do you not think that somebody who's been down and out that gets brought back from the brink is not going to work to maintain that lifestyle? I'm not just about the wasted space, the wasted resources. I'm about fixing that and taking it to the next level. Because as I cited before, the current United Nations cost estimate to end world hunger is about $30 billion each year. If 1.5 billion people watched 15 videos a day, we would make we would make $36,385,500,000 annually. Problem solved. That's nearly $7 billion left over after the first year to fund projects which would make food and water easier to produce, innovate in bringing technology, information, and education to the human race, and create jobs and systems to improve our world and the way it's run. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then stay with me, dude, because this is going to be a topic of conversation to last us, hopefully, a lifetime.